The Udyoga Parva Sanskrit, Yoga Pava, or the Book of Effort, is the fifth of 18 books of the Indian epic Mahabharata. Udyoga Parva traditionally has 10 parts and 199 chapters. The critical edition of Sabha Parva has 12 parts and 197 chapters. Duryodhana then went to the son of Rahini of great strength, and approaching him, explained him his reasons. Balrama refused to take part in battle as his affection for both sides. Both sides gather a massive alliance of armies, with Pandavas 7 units of troops and with Kaurava 11 units group's army being larger. Shalya, on being serviced and asked by Duryodhana as a boon, joins Kaurava's side, then meets Yudhishthira. On learning Shalya being tricked, Yudhishthira asked him a favor that he will be chosen as Karna's charioteer during the war for sure in future, and compared his riding skills to Krishna. For their good, and protection of Arjuna, he must dispirit Karna, by recounting the praises of Arjuna, so that victory can be achieved. Shalya promised him that he will speak to him in war in such contradictory words that will bereft him of pride and valor, and will be easily slain by antagonist. Yudhishthira convinces Shalya that Kauravas are in error. Shalya agrees to explain Yudhishthira's position to Duryodhana. Shalya leaves Pandava's camp to meet the Kaurava brothers. 2. Sanjaya Yana Parva chapters 20-32 2. Draupada's envoy reaches Kaurava brothers. He announces that Pandava brothers do not want war, they see war as something that ruins the world, all they want is an amicable settlement. He also informs the Dhritarashtra and Kuru family that Yudhishthira seeks peace not out of weakness, they have 7 Akshauhinis large battalions. Draupada's envoy asks that Kaurava brothers give virtue and peace a chance, they give back that which should be returned. Bhishma responds that peace makes sense, but Karna, on hearing Pandavas' praises by that envoy in the court of Kaurava brothers, argues that Pandavas had become prideful of their might, so war is preferable. Dhritarashtra dismisses Draupada's envoy, promising to send Sanjaya to the Pandavas with a full response. Dhritarashtra summons Sanjaya, asks him to meet the Pandava brothers, but does not propose anything concrete about peaceful transfer of kingdom. Sanjaya meets Yudhishthira, urges peace, says war will cause losses to both sides, notes that if Pandavas kill Kauravas, it will make them miserable in victory. Yudhishthira says Pandavas do not want war, they want peace and prosperity. Pandavas had left their kingdom, Indraprastha, during the exile, and Dhritarashtra must return the kingdom to him to make peace. Yudhishthira suggests to Sanjaya, in chapter 31 of the Parva, that he would accept a smaller kingdom if that would prevent war, further peace. Pandavas are ready for peace, and for war, claims Yudhishthira. Sanjaya returns to Dhritarashtra, urges him to take the path of peace, and in a brutally directly manner calls Dhritarashtra's approach towards Pandavas as sinful, suicidal and wrong. 3. Prajagara Parva chapters 33-40. Dhritarashtra summons Vidura for counsel, confesses Sanjaya's message have disordered his senses and caused him sleeplessness. Dhritarashtra asks for moral guidance and wisdom to lead his kingdom. Sage Vidura presents a discourse that is referred to as Viduraniti. It describes the character and habits of wise men, how they combine virtuous life with prosperity. These adhyayas also describe the duties and actions of kings that enables a prosperous kingdom. After listening to Vidura, Dhritarashtra leans for peace and an accommodation of Pandava brothers, however, he says Duryodhana wants the opposite. Dhritarashtra claims his exertion may be in vain, destiny will do what it wants to. 4. Sanatsujata Parva chapters 41-46. Dhritarashtra continues in his suffering of anxiety and depression. He seeks more counsel from sage Vidura. The sage says he was born in Sudra class and has already counseled the king, perhaps the king should get second opinion from Sanat Sujata who was born in Brahmin class. Vidura brings in sage Sanat Sujata. Dhritarashtra asks him questions about eternal being, life after death and immortality. The response of Sanat Sujata is another treatise called Sanatsujatiya, sometimes spelled Sanatsugatiya or Sanatsugatiya. Scholars suggest Sanatsujatiya may have been a later insertion and addition into the original epic. Adi Shankara commented on Sanatsujatiya, parts of the commentary too have been corrupted later by unknown individuals. Sanatsujatiya is a treatise on spirituality, inward contemplation, and marga paths to liberation and freedom. Sage Sanat Sujata insists that rituals and Vedic ceremonies are not the path to emancipation. Ignorance is living death. It is true knowledge of universal self that emancipates. He suggests that gods are ordinary creatures who have realized that self-knowledge. This view of human beings as creatures of unlimited potential mirrors those found in the Upanishads. Craving for wealth, desire for fame and longing for power suggests Sanatsugatiya is a cause for misery. Knowledge, virtue and faith in fruits of action are a cause of contentment. Dhritarashtra reminds Sanatsujata that Vedas declare sacrificial ceremonies remove sins and emancipate. Why should men not engage in these practices? Sanatsujata replies that there are different paths, all with one goal. There is great inconsistency in interpretation of these paths. Ceremonies put undue importance to external forms, often ignore the inner self. Dhritarashtra asks if one can achieve emancipation in afterlife by renouncing everything but without virtue and right action. Sanatsujata replies that it is the inner state that matters, not outward manifestations. The hymns of Veda do not rescue people from sin they commit. Vice and knowledge can never dwell together. Sanatsujata then outlines 12 virtues one must live by and 12 vices to avoid, followed by 3 requirements for free, liberated life. In chapter 44, Sanatsujata suggests knowledge is the only path to emancipation. In chapter 45, Sanatsujata suggests virtuous attributes and actions are the path to gain that knowledge. After the council. From Sanatsujata, Dhritarashtra retires for the night. Yanasandhi Parva chapters 47 to 73. The Kaurava brothers assemble in the court to hear Sanjaya who has returned from Pandava brothers. See Sanjaya Yana Parva above. Sanjaya gives them message of Pandavas that either surrender to King Yudhishthira, his kingdom or have war for Kuru destruction. Bhishma recommends peace and returning kingdom. Drona supports Bhishma. Karna objects. Bhishma ridicules Karna. Dhritarashtra inquires about Yudhisthira's military preparation. Sanjaya frankly criticizes Dhritarashtra for his vicious conduct towards Pandavas. Duryodhana, getting provoked by Pandavas' praises, reminds everyone of the warriors on their side, his own courage and readiness for war. Dhritarashtra asks about kingdoms who have allied to Pandavas. Sanjaya provides the details. Duryodhana interjects and provides a list of kingdoms who have allied with Kauravas and are ready for war. Dhritarashtra asks his son to accept peace and give back the kingdom to the Pandavas. Duryodhana mocks and refuses. Karna joins Duryodhana, mocks Pandavas and boasts his own warrior powers. Bhishma criticizes Karna again. Karna gets upset, promises to not fight till Bhishma is alive, and walks out of the court. Dhritarashtra again asks Duryodhana to choose peace. Duryodhana insists on war. Krishna leaves the city of Kauravas, with Karna in a chariot. He tells Karna who Karna's real mother is, how he is a brother of the Pandavas, asks he should join his brothers and they will cheerfully accept him and will choose him the next king. Karna, already knowing this, refuses, saying obtaining him, Duryodhana provoked hostilities with Pandavas, and he cannot betray him since he was first to hold his hand for friendship and gave him kingdom, nor from affection he can leave Radha and Adiratha who cared him from childhood, for Kunti who abandoned him without thinking about his future and it will be inglorious for him and his mother. He asked Krishna to conceal this for the present. Karna repents for his cruel acts in the past for pleasing Duryodhana. He said he knows he will die in the great war being on Unrightio's side, but cannot leave his friend in distress, so will challenge Arjuna and will earn great merit or glory. Karna then hugs Krishna and returns to the city. Vidura meets with Partha. Kunti, Karna's real mother, meets him during his prayers near Bhagiratha river, and they talk. She explains what happened when Karna was born, urges him to reconsider his position about the war. Surya confirms Kunti words. But though addressed by his mother and by also his father Surya himself, Karna's heart did not yet waver, for he was firmly devoted to truth. He replies that she abandoned him as soon as he was born, involving risk to life itself, deprived him of Kshatriya rights, and addresses him today, desirous to do good to herself. He cannot change side now and frustrate the cherished hopes of Suyodhana, since it is too late for him. This is his chance to fight the Arjuna, earn fame and respect of the world. He promises that except Arjuna, her other sons, shall not be slain by him, even though he have the chance, and the number of her sons will never be less than 5, with 5, either him or Arjuna, just like she pretended to have 5 sons before war. Kunti trembles with sorrow. Krishna reaches Pandavas' camp and updates them of his effort at peace as an envoy, how he failed. Sanya Niryana Parva chapters 151 to 159. War preparations accelerate. Yudhishthira seeks nominations for the commander-in-chief of allied forces behind Pandava brothers. Many names come forward. Krishna selects Drishtadyumna. The Pandava army marches for war to Kurukshetra. Duryodhana with Karna, Shakuni and Dusasana prepare for war. Bhishma is appointed by Duryodhana as commander-in-chief of armies behind Kaurava brothers. Venerable Bhishma said that Pandavas are dear to him, so he will not fight them openly and will, therefore, slay every day at least 10,000 warriors. Both sides select chiefs for each of their Akshauhini's battalions. Pandavas have 7 battalions, Kauravas have 11. Halayuddha came there to meet Pandavas and his brother Krishna and expresses his views that he cannot pick side to fight, as both Bhima and Duryodhana are his disciples, and leaves for journey to the sacred waters. Rukmi, once fierce rival of Janardana, came there into Pandava's camp and boasteth about his ability that he can slay all enemy commander. Arjuna smilingly boasteth that he does not have any ally in any of his fights and he single-handedly defeated everyone, so no need of his assistance. Rukmi then goes to Duryodhana and said same words, but that king, proud of his bravery, rejected him in the same way. So he also withdrew from the battle. Dhritarashtra meets Sanjaya, expresses his anxiety, wonders if the war is one of choice or destiny. Ulukabhigamana Parva chapters 160 to 164. Duryodhana sends Uluka to Pandavas camped in Kurukshetra for war, with insulting messages to Yudhishthira, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, Bharata, Drupada, Dhananjaya, Sikandan, Drishtadyumna and Vasudeva, as part of psychological warfare. The Parva recites the fable of the cat and the mouse. Bhima gets angry at Uluka's speech and addresses him harshly but was pacified by Arjuna. Uluka gives all the messages he was provided. Each person who listens to the message, replies. Yudhishthira tells Uluka to return with the message he was given by all. Uluka returns to Kaurava's camp, and delivers the messages from Pandava camp to him. Duryodhana and Karna raise their troops to face the army of Pandavas. Yudhishthira moves his army. Drishtadyumna, the commander-in-chief of allied Pandava forces, studies the strengths of the enemy, appoints particular warriors in Pandava's side to focus on particular warriors on Kaurava's side. Rathatirtha Sankhyanna Parva chapters 165 to 172. Infighting erupts within the Kaurava side. Duryodhana asks for Bhishma views on both side warriors counted as Rathas and Atirathas. Bhishma lists all 100 Kaurava brothers, and Sakuni as Rathas. Jayadratha equal to 2 Rathas. Kritavarman, Salya, as Atirathas. Aswathaman, Drona, as Maharathas, and mocks Karna as only being an Ardaratha. Drona supports his words. Karna gets angry with Bhishma and criticizes him for making dissension among Kuras by indicating warrior ranks, according only to his own caprice. He vows he will not fight until he is laid down. The Parva then describes Rathas and Atirathas on Pandava side, ready for war. King, Shikandan is Ratha. Bhimasena equal to 8 Rathas. Nakula and Sahadeva are equal to 4 Rathas. Drupada, Bharata, Satyajit, Yudhishthira as Atiratha. Arjuna, Satyaki and Drishtadyumna as Maharatha. Bhishma said, he himself and their preceptor Drona are only warrior who can advance against Dhananjaya, no third Kar warrior. Ambopakyana Parva chapters 173 to 199. This Parva recites the story of Bhishma past exploits in a maiden named Amba, and how his emotional attachment means he can fight everyone but Sikandan, a battalion commander in Pandava's side. Duryodhana then asks his commanders the time it will take each of them to annihilate the allied armies behind Pandavas. Bhishma said he can finish the slaughter in a month. Drona said smilingly that he is old, his energy and activity have both become weak, but like Bhishma, a month. Kripa estimates 2 months. Aswathaman claims that he can annihilate the Pandava army in 10 nights. Karna, however, with great overconfidence, said he can achieve that feat in 5 days. Bhishma ridicules and mocks Karna. Yudhishthira, learning the news from spies, also asks the same question to Arjuna, the time he will take to annihilate the armies behind Kauravas. Arjuna said, with Vasudeva as his ally, he can, on his divine car, annihilate all mortals on earth, in the twinkling of the eye, using the terrible and mighty weapon he obtained from Mahadeva, if he provides and discharges it with enough energy. No one knows this on the opposite side, but he is restricted to not using it for his own selfish reasons on human beings. The Pandava army marches to the battlefront. The Kaurava army also marches to the battlefront. Both armies face each other for war. In chapters 33 through 40 of Udyoga Parva, also called Prajagara sub Parva, sage Vidura outlines things wise people and leaders should do, and things they should not. These are known as Vidura Niti. Some examples of his recommendations for leaders. He should wish for the prosperity of all, and should never set heart on inflicting misery on any group. He should pay attention to those who have fallen in distress and adversity. He should not ignore persistent sufferings of those that depend on him, even if the suffering is small. He should show compassion to all creatures, do what is good for all creatures rather than a select few. He should never impede the development and growth of agriculture and economic activity by anyone. He should always be prepared to protect those that depend on him for their safety and security. He should be fair and accessible to his people. By means of virtue should he attain success, by means of virtue should he sustain it. He should consider the welfare of his people as his personal responsibility. He should encourage learning and transmission of knowledge. He should encourage profit and virtue. Prosperity depends on good deeds. Good deeds depend on prosperity. He should avoid friendship with the sinful. He should never misuse wealth, use harsh speech nor inflict extreme or cruel punishments. He should only appoint those as ministers, senior positions in his staff whom he has examined well for their history of virtue, dispositions, activity and whether they give others their due.